I want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakakadesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Alright, this is the Sirach, chapter 2, and I'm going to start at the top. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mightest be increased at thy last. Whatever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So for whatever trials, tribulations, whatever you got to go through in this truth, take it with joy and be patient. Alright, and he said, if you come to serve the Lord, you got to get ready for temptation. Things are going to happen. Alright, verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and the scepter of a man in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Alright, so just like gold was tried in the fire, you're going to be tried in this truth. Alright, because we remember, as I said, what then? What was it? Let's see. Alright. Alright, this is Micah. This is Malachi, chapter 3. And I'm going to read verse 3. Alright, I'm going to start it, start a little high. Alright, starting at the top. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom ye see shall suddenly come of the temple, even by the messenger of the covenant, whom delight in. Behold, he shall come, said the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the days of his coming, and who shall stand when appearance? For he is like a refiner fire, and like a fuller's scope. Right? He shall sit as a refiner and purify of silver, and he shall purify the sons of the Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they might offer unto the Lord an offspring in righteousness. Alright. Then should the offering of Judah and Israel be pleasant unto the Lord as the days of old, as in former years. So pretty much the Lord letting us know that he's going to try the world with fire, trials and tribulations. Alright, now let's get back on it. For fifth verse, I start the fifth verse again. For as gold is tried in the fire, and the scepter of a man in the furnace of adversity. Alright, believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest you fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe in him, and your reward should not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? On whom did he ever despise that called upon his name? So pretty much the Lord never turned his back on anybody who has called upon his name. He has never despised anybody who served him, alright, sincerely and without a heart. Alright. Now, this is an article I just came across. It's got books written about the apostles and how they died, but ain't a lot in the Bible concerning their deaths. But it's other reading sources that pretty much they say tells their history, but you gotta take all that with a grain of salt. And a lot of it, as they say, you gotta chew the meat and spit out the bones. Alright, but I'm just gonna read a little bit of this article. Alright, because this article is based on a lot of these reading materials, like the Laws, Acts of the Holy Apostles, books like that. That is where they get this from. But let's read a little bit of the articles and pull the fruit of the precepts that are listed. Alright, the only apostle whose death the Bible records is James. Alright, so you know what? Let's start with that one. Alright. And it say Acts chapter 2, verse 2. Alright, I'm just start at the top on this. Alright. King Herod had James put to death with the sword, likely a reference to beheading. The circumstances of the death of the other apostles related through the church tradition, so we should not put too much weight on any other accounts. Alright, so since it ain't in the Bible, you can't put too much weight on any of the other accounts that are listed. Alright, now about the time Herod the king stretched forth his hand to vex certain of the church, and he killed James, the brother of John. Because you had James, Yahushua brother, and then you had James, the brother of John, with the sword. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread, so the Passover. And when he had appeared him, he put him in prison and delivered him. Alright. So he said, Peter was put in prison, alright, after all that happened. Okay. So this is letting you know that and he was put in prison because of, the wicked of our people. The 2/3 house of Saul, the wicked of our people wanted Peter to be put in prison. Alright, so it just tells you that, just like how the church and our people today can't stand and hear the truth, the same was back in apostles' time. When we try to tell people the truth, they don't want to hear it. Alright, and let me read that third verse again. And because he saw that it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. And when he had appeased him, he put him in prison and delivered him to the 4 corners of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Alright, so they're waiting for that wicked holiday Easter. But actually, I believe that is supposed to say after the Passover. That is one of them translations they did just to throw people off. Alright. Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayers were made without ceasing of the church unto Yahweh for him. Alright. So people went to praying for Peter. Alright, and he said he was praying without ceasing. Alright, and when Herod would have brought him forth the same night, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains, and the keepers before the doors kept the prison. And behold, the angel of the Lord came upon him, and a light shined in the prison, and he smote Peter on the side and rose him up, saying, Arise up quickly. And his chains fell off his hands. And the angel said to him, Gird thyself and bind on thy sandals. And so he did. And he said unto him, Cast thy garments about thee and follow me. And he went out and followed him, and wist not that it was true, which was done by the angels. But God, he saw a vision. So Peter was wondering, was this even true what was going on, that the angels were freeing him? But when they were past the first and second ward, they came unto the iron gate that leaded into the city, which opens to them of a cord, and they went out and passed on through one street, and forthwith the angels departed from him. So the angels freed Peter. So that's going back to what we was just reading in what's that, the book of Sirach, the Sirach, the second chapter, and that was the 10th verse. Alright. Look at the generations of old and say, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon his name? So the Lord remembered Peter, alright? Because it wasn't a time for, Peter, to be mortal. Alright. Now, let's read on a little more and see what we coming to. Alright. The most commonly accepted traditions is regarded to the death of the apostle is that the apostle Peter was crucified upside down in Rome in fulfillment of Yahushua's prophecy, John 21:18. Following are more popular traditions concerning the deaths of the other apostles. Alright, so let me go get that John 21:18, but I'm gonna start at 15. Let me go up a little higher. So when they had dined, Yahushua said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my lamb. He said unto him again a second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my sheep. And he said unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. And Yahweh said unto him, Feed my sheep. Alright. 18th verse. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, thou wast young, thou girdest thyself, and walkest within thy wouldest, but walkest well thou wouldest. But when thou should be old, thou should have stretched forth thy hand, and another should gird thee and carry thee whether thou wouldest not. So pretty much saying that he was going to have to follow the ways of the Lord, right? And this spoke he, signifying by what death he should glorify Yahweh. And when he had spoken this, he said unto him, Follow me. So this was letting Peter know that he was going to be a mortal and he was going to glorify Yahweh with his death, Alright, now, the following are more traditionals concerning the deaths of the other apostles. Alright. Matthew suffered martyrdom in Ethiopia, killed by a sword wound. John faced martyrdom when he was boiled in a huge basin of boiling oil during a wave of persecution in Rome. However, he was miraculously delivered from death. John was then sentenced to the mines on the prison of the islands of Patmos. He wrote the prophetic book of Revelations on Patmos. The Apostle John was later freed and returned to what is now modern-day Turkey. He died as an old man, the only apostle to die peacefully. James, the brother of Yahushua, not officially an apostle, was the leader of the church in Jerusalem. He was thrown from the southeast pinnacle of the temple, over 100 feet down, and refused to deny his faith in a Mashiach. Alright, so they say he refused. When they discovered that he survived the fire, his enemies beat James to death with a club. Alright, so they say when they discovered he survived the fire, they beat him to death with a club. Alright. Bartholomew, also known as Nathan, was a missionary to Asia. He witnessed in present-day Turkey and was martyred for his preaching in um, what's that, Amaranth, being flayed to death by a whip. Andrew was crucified on a X-shaped cross in Greece. Alright, so a lot of people claim the crosses was only in the T. They had a X-shaped cross, and I believe they even had a wheel cross, which they would break somebody's bones to fit around the wheels. So they had all kind of Romans had all kind of gruesome ways to kill people. After 7 soldiers whipped Andrew severely, they tied his body to a cross with cords to prolong his agony. His followers reported that when he was led toward the cross, Andrew saluted in these words, "I have long desired and expected this happy hour." So, saying he was happy to be put to death, for his witness to Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Alright, that he was happy, so he receive his reward, because being one of the apostles, he gonna sit on one of the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, rough the parasites and phrasing as in Revelation. The cross has been consecrated by the body of Yahweh Shai hanging on it. Okay, he continued to preach to his tormentors for 2 days until he died. So they say he preached while he was on the cross until he died, is how the story is believed to go. The Apostle Thomas was stabbed with a spear in India during one of his missionary trips to establish the church there. Matthias, the apostle chosen to replace Judas Iscariot, was stoned and then beheaded. So they killed the man with stones, then cut off his head. The apostle Paul was tortured and then beheaded by Emperor Nero in Rome in AD 67, which I really got to double check it, because I was always on the that Apostle Paul wasn't tortured, because Apostle Paul was a Roman citizen and they couldn't torture Roman citizens, is what they claim. So they claim that he had a quick death, right? So this article is saying something different, so I might have to look into that, read a little more, see if I find something else about it. These are and that's also, if that was true, that was Paul using that, even though he was an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin, he knew when to use the fact that he was a Roman. All right. These are traditionally regarding the other apostles as well, but none with any reliable history or traditional support. All right. So pretty much, the Bible doesn't say any of this. This is just stuff people picked from different other sources of history books and things. All right. It is not important how the apostles died. All right. See, that is why the Bible don't put it in there, because it wasn't important the way they died. We know they died in the faith and in the truth. The way they died is not important, so that's why it's not in the scriptures. What is important is the fact that they were all willing to die for the faith. If Yahweh Shai had not been resurrected, right, the disciples would have known it. People would not die for something they knew to be a lie. Alright, so the fact that they was willing to die means they believed in this and that this is really happening. So that was the most important thing about their death. Alright, the fact that all the apostles were willing to die horrible deaths, refusing to renounce their faith in a Mashiach, is evidence that they had truly witnessed the restoration of Yahweh Shai. Alright, so they was all willing to die for what they believe. Alright, now see if I can get this. Okay. Let's see. No, let's just go ahead and get the blue letter. Alright. Yeah, let's get the blue letter. Got a few more scriptures. Alright. Now, let's get they was willing to die for what they believed in. Alright, and that was the most important part about what happened in them. Alright, this is Matthew chapter 20, verse 20. Alright. Then came to him mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him, and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She said unto him, Grant that these my two sons might sit, one at thy right hand and the other on the left in thy kingdom. But Yahushua answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I should drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They said unto him, We are able. And he said unto them, Ye should drink indeed of my cup. So that's pretty much was letting them know that, they was going to be put to death in a similar way to what he was going to be put to death. That was the cup they was going to drink of, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. Alright, so, but to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it should be given to them from whom it is prepared of my Father. So Yahweh was going to pick who was going to sit on his right hand and his left hand. This is also a cut on the Trinity doctrine, because this is letting you know they are two separate beings. Yahweh couldn't pick this, all right? Yahweh was going to pick, all right? And then the 24th verse, and when the 10 heard it, so the other apostles heard it, they were moved with indignation against the two brothers. So, that's something, they were mad that the two brothers were asked it. But, pride for multiple reasons. Pride for the fact that they want to sit on the right hand of the Lord when they, pride came dead. And also for the fact that, them two brothers said that they was going to indeed drink of the cup of his baptism, and be baptized with what he was going to be baptized with, meaning they was going to go through more than put to death. So that might have upset some of them too. But you see, but they all were still willing to die for what they believe in. All right, now this is Job chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 7. So when Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with swords, bars, from the sole of his feet unto his crown, and he took him a potsherd to scrape himself with, and sit down among the ashes. Then his wife came unto him, Dost thou still retain thy integrity? Curse Yahweh and die. But he said unto her, Thou speakest one of the foolish women speak. What? Should we receive good at the hand of Yahweh, and should we not receive evil? And all this did not Job sin with his lips. Alright, so Job wouldn't say nothing bad, but he said he was going to receive good and evil at the hands of the Lord. Alright, and for what the apostles went through, they was going to receive their reward. Alright, and the same thing comes to us when we go through Jacob's trouble, which is fast approaching. Matter of fact, let me let me get that in alright, Jeremiah chapter 30. Alright, chapter 30. Alright. For thus said the Lord, starting at the 5th verse, for thus said the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man does travail with child, whether do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and our faces are turned into paleness. at last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. And even in the time of Jacob's trouble, but he should be saved out of it. Alright, so pretty much you know, we are finna be in some real hard, rough times, but the Lord is gonna save his people out of it. And no matter what you go through, you know, the Lord is gonna be there. And, it said the dead and Yahweh Shah Mashiach should rise first. Alright. Now let's get over to Revelations chapter 2, verse 9 and 10. I know thy works and thy tribulation and thy poverty, but thou art rich. So even though it look like, we ain't got nothing, but thou art rich. And I know the blaspheming of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And that goes for the fake 1948ers and the 2/3 of our people, who don't follow the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. The ones that go to that building every Sunday and still keep none of his laws, or don't even try to keep any of his laws. Alright, 10th verse. For none of these things which thou shalt suffer, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and you shall be tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So this is the Lord telling us to be faithful unto death, and he will give us a crown of life, that eternal life, that immortal body. Alright, now let's go back to the Old Testament, Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. Alright, and at that time shall Michael stand up, that great prince was standing for the children of thy people, and shall be in a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. At that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth should awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Alright, so pretty much that the Lord is going to send his angels to fight from his people, and it say Michael going to be with the Lord, alright, when he come back, alright. And it said that some people are going to wait to everlasting shame, alright, and everlasting life, and others to shame and everlasting contempt, right? Because they're gonna wish they would have did the right thing when they had the chance to. They would have followed the Lord when they had the chance to. Alright, now we go over to Revelations chapter 20, verses 4 and 5. And I saw the thrones, and they that sit upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shah, and for the words of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with a Mashiach 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Alright, so the Lord said the people, who die in this faith, who die in this truth, we're gonna be the first ones up on the chariot in Thessalonians, the first who die. Alright, now let's go over to 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 14. Alright. And if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye, and be not afraid of their terrors, neither be troubled. Alright? But sanctify the Lord Yahweh in your heart, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asks you a reason of hope that is in you, with meekness and fear, having a good conscience, that where they speak evil of you as of evildoers, that they might be shamed that falsely accuse you accrues your good conversation in a Mashiach. For it is better if the will of Yahweh be so, that ye suffer for well doing than for evil doing. So it's better, to be punished for doing what is right than for what is wrong. For a Mashiach also had once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to Yahweh, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. Alright? So he was put to death in the flesh and quickened by the Spirit. But which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. For sometimes were disobedient, when once the long suffering of Yahweh waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was prepared, wherein a fruit, that is, 8 souls were saved. So it's saying, the Lord saved 8 souls in the first death, the flood, right? And the elect is going to be the 144,000 plus the other 1/3 of Israel that the Lord like make it on this go around. Alright. Alright. The little figure, whoever even baptism does not save us, not the putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a good conscience toward Yahweh by the restoration of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Alright, so this is letting you know that it isn't the baptism, it's the changing, you get from this word, the putting away all the filth of the flesh, breaking away from sinning. Who is gone into heaven and is the right hand of Yahweh, angels and authorities and powers being made subject unto him. Alright? So it is saying, Yahweh Shai, he has received his award. He's sitting at the right hand of the Father for his sacrifice. Alright, this is Revelation chapter 3, verses 9 and 10. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but to lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Alright, so this is going for the fake Jews over there, and it's also the 2/3 of our people who don't want to see what's right. They're gonna be in a lower estate in the kingdom than the people who's trying to serve the Lord right now. They're gonna make it in, but they just ain't gonna be on the same level as the people who's trying to do the right thing right now. Alright? Because thou hast kept the words of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwells upon the earth. Alright? So the Lord said the people who follow him, he's going to keep them from the hour of temptation. We know some people are going to be mortal, but the majority of the people is going to make it in. The goal this go around is to endure to the end, to be some of the first fruits into the kingdom of heaven. Alright? So you should expect suffering, but suffering is a good thing, to be tried in that fire, to be refined, to be brought forth. Alright? And with that, Shalom.